So jumping right into today, Ryan and Catherine, why don't y'all introduce yourselves and tell us the story of how y'all met?
Go ahead.
I'm Ryan. This is my wife, Catherine. We actually met in Austin at work. We both worked for the same company at the time, but we kind of ran around in the same circles here in Lubbock without knowing it. So kind of a small world, and our families worked together for a little bit without us knowing, and just kind of one of those things that, I don't know.
Ryan was at Tech at the same time I was, and we were literally built across the street in different buildings. But so a lot of our circles crossed, and we just didn't ever meet until Austin. So
Yeah.
whenever I saw him in the office, he was at work first, and then I started after. And whenever we were in the break room, and I had to give him a hard time because he had a Tech shirt on, and we were in UT country. So that was kind of how I started talking to Ryan. I was like, wait, let me see your shirt. And he was nervous to show me because being in Austin, he thought I was going to give him crap about it. But I actually was ready to talk to somebody that was from Tech. So gave us an opening.
Yeah. Who asked who first to go out?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you started the conversation with the text stuff.
Yeah.
But, I mean, our first date was on South Congress. She was new to Austin. She hadn't really been to that part of town yet. So I think I was just like, hey, you want to go check it out? And then kind of walked around. But I don't know. It's one of those things where you think back on it and you don't really know. You don't remember. Just kind of happened naturally, I guess.
There was a good group of friends from work that we all kind of hung out together. So I think everyone had come to my apartment to hang out and eat. And then Ryan and I kind of just kicked it off from there. So it was good.
Yeah. How long did y'all know each other before you actually started dating?
A month or two.
Yeah, just a couple of months.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah, not that long. And now it's been 11 years.
Yeah.
11 years.
Yeah.
And how long after dating did y'all get married?
I gave Ryan a hard time because
Why you gotta ask that?
I gave Ryan a really hard time because it took him a long
Yeah.
time for him to ask me to marry him, and I probably was putting a little too much pressure on him. But let's see, we got engaged 4.5 years.
It was
After dating?
2018.
Yeah.
December 2018.
So yeah, it was about 4 years.
4 years? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we dated for 4 years, got engaged because we were moving states, and I figured, if she's moving with me, I should probably ask her to marry me.
Yeah.
So she said yes after saying no a couple times. Just out of instinct, it was just kind of a funny thing. But yeah.
It was a good proposal. We were in New York City, and he did it in front of the Rockefeller Christmas tree, but it was something I was not expecting, and I turned around and Ryan was on one knee, and I was like, no, what's going on? And so I was saying no, but obviously that's not what I meant.
It's more like a no way type
of He said I was backing up. I don't remember that, but it was just in the moment. I was like, wait, what's going on? So I was a little nervous.
More surprised than anything.
Yes.
Yeah. So you said you were moving states at that time. Is that when y'all were moving to Arizona?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we moved out there for work. My client was out there. I was out there traveling. So we lived in Austin. Every 2 or 3 weeks, I was gone for a couple days at a time. Eventually, they just said, stay out there.
Yeah.
They didn't say this, but time is spending money traveling back and forth and stuff, and it makes sense to be where your clients are. And, so yeah, we spent 4.5 years out there, and then moved back here.
Yeah. So when y'all moved over there, what were y'all doing?
So we worked in telecom, kind of a cousin to real estate, the sector that we were in telecom. We helped build out that infrastructure for. You see all the commercials for 4G and 5G and faster speeds for your cell phones. We were behind the scenes on all that, working on that for a couple of years before the marketing started for Verizon and AT&T and all them to do their faster internet speeds. So we were working with those wireless carriers, and then also working with landowners, building owners, contract work, really in-depth
Permits.
contract work, permits, jurisdictions.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So in the end, very similar to real estate, but more of a commercial or long-term lease aspect versus residential purchases.
Yeah.
So-
So what made you switch over to doing real estate now?
We got laid off, so that was fun.
Fortunately, we both got laid off at the same time. Our tenure, we had 20 years of tenure together combined, but that didn't really save us. And so we got laid off on the same day, same morning together. So that was a big shock and really like just threw us for a loop. We really had to figure out what the next steps were because we were in Arizona and I felt bitter, honestly, because I felt like the company had moved us to Arizona and then stranded us. And it was somewhere we had no friends, no family, because we moved. When we did move to Arizona, we were planning our wedding. So we were focused on that, and our wedding was back in Austin. So we were focused on, just trying to plan our wedding, and we didn't really take the time to meet people at that point. And then we literally got married the weekend before COVID shut the world down. So when we went back to Arizona after our wedding, we were locked down. And so we really didn't have any friends, and we definitely didn't have any family there. So it was a rough time just trying to figure out what's next because we were in Arizona by ourselves. So it was kind of like a force to make us make the change. And it was, it all turned out for the better, and I'm happy with where we are and where we came. But that was a hard time. That was a big eye opener.
Yeah, the reason for the layoff was, as I mentioned, we'd done all this work for 5G and 4G, and the carriers, like Verizon and all them, were spending money to market that, right? Well, once everything got deployed, they needed to save their money and kind of recoup the cost, right? So then we worked for a small business at the time. If our income stream is kind of slowed down and cut off, then the business has to make some decisions. And unfortunately, we were caught up in that, and we were kind of toying with the fact of moving back to Texas. We didn't know where or when, but getting laid off just kind of fast-tracked everything. Kind of kicked our butt into gear.
Now you do.
You are moving soon. So
So what made the decision to move back to Lubbock specifically?
So I'm from Lubbock. I grew up here. My parents are still here, and my brother and sister-in-law. We wanted to move back to Austin, but just financially and just looking at the housing market in Austin, it didn't really make sense, especially without a job. So just looking at Lubbock, it made more sense, and we were still close enough to Ryan's family with his dad in Arlington area and his mom in Austin. Lubbock was still close enough to those, and not 14 hours like it was when we were living in Phoenix. So Lubbock just kind of made more sense at the time. Yeah, and me going to tech, and I had an uncle here too. I mean, there's some history. We're both familiar with Lubbock, and it's the right place now for us. We don't know how long it'll last. Hopefully, it'll last a long time. If not, then we'll figure it out later. But that was really the main reason, was financial, and then just like the support, friends, family, and all that stuff.
How long have y'all been here now?
Right at a year, like a year and a month.
A year and a month.
Yeah, we moved in December of last year.
Dang, it feels like we've known y'all for longer than
I know.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I've known y'all forever.
Okay, so y'all moved back, and Ryan, you started in real estate at Bray Real Estate. How's that been going?
It's been going good. I knew I wanted to get into real estate at some point. I even studied before we started moving. Like, as soon as we got laid off, I was like, you know what? I was debating doing this anyway. I'm going to do it now. So at that point, I was deciding whether to get my Arizona license or Texas. Once we decided to move, I was like, okay, we're definitely doing Texas. So started at Bray. Fast forward, 6 months or a year. Started at Bray, June of last year. So I've been with Bray about 6 months. Had a successful, I would say total 6 months, but really the last 2 or 3 months of really when things started to kind of snowball.
Yeah.
In a good way. And it's been great, good leadership there, great training, good mentors, coaching, good environment in general. Everything's relaxed, nothing's too structured or too, I don't know what the word is, but it's a good fit.
Yeah.
And I knew going in, what I was looking for, and I interviewed with a number of brokerages, and Elizabeth did a good job selling it on Bray for good reason. So
1 second.
yeah, it's fire truck.
Okay. Was that?
That was it.
Okay. Yeah, we both, when we started working for Bray, doing stuff for them, we both really loved it there. Like, out of all the brokerages, they're one that they stand out for sure, because it feels like they're more like family oriented, and that's
I was gonna
one
say
thing.
the same. Yeah.
Yeah, that support is there, and there's not pressure to get X number of deals or X number of volume.
Yeah.
From the brokerage side of things. And then there's also, a lot of support on what avenue you want to go in real estate, whether it's commercial or real estate or property management or whatever, so they kind of let you figure it out and also help you along the way. So it's great. Yeah, it's a great fit.
Yeah, personally, for Sarah mentioned this when we first started getting more into knowing everybody at Bray. We had known, not going to say any names, but other brokerages where it was more like, hey, we want y'all to come out and drink, just you, right? Your family's not invited, kind of just, if you're on the team, you're invited type of thing.
Socialize, yeah.
Yeah, but then Bray is always like, the whole family's invited, bring everybody, So that was something that really stood out to us too. And that's why we're able to get along with everybody there.
Yeah, I feel that too, because anytime they're doing some kind of event, Elizabeth is always telling me to come, but I'm not even I'm just the sidecar, I'm not in real estate, but they're always very welcoming. So I agree, it's very much a family oriented aspect for that office, and that means a lot, I think, to Ryan and I. Just kind of the welcomingness of that makes us feel comfortable.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a good fit.
Yeah. So since you started real estate about 6 months ago, has there ever been a time when you were like, maybe I made the wrong decision, maybe I should try something else?
No, but this is a unique circumstance, and I want to be clear for anybody that might be thinking about getting into real estate that may listen to this or watch this. It's not easy. You really have to grind and find. You have to prospect. You have to find who's looking to buy or sell. For example, I personally don't have a big sphere of friends and family here. Through Catherine's family, they know a number of people, but personally, I can't just market to people I directly know and say, hey, do you know of anybody, or are you guys looking or thinking or whatever? So, is there anything that was the question was it along the lines of, would I change anything, or was it more of, have I made a wrong decision?
Yeah, it was more like, did you think crap, maybe I should go do something else? Yeah. But yeah, also if you're would you change something about it too?
So yeah, the first part of that is no, because of our previous experience that we got through our previous experience that we got from our previous career, lined up really well with real estate. We were working with clients, we were working with landowners and building owners, we were working with jurisdictions. And a lot of that skill set and that mindset translates directly to real estate and really every agent is starting their own business. So going
Yeah.
in and just knowing that you have to put in the work and just be professional and kind and courteous and be consistent is the number one thing. And yeah, that's kind of what I gave myself into, and it's started to pay me back on it. So I don't, with that skill set and everything, no, I don't think that I made the wrong decision.
Yeah.
Again, it's not easy, and that's not going to come for everybody, especially younger agents that, maybe they're 20 and they're just starting it. They don't have that time and experience gained from just the normal W-2 job or whatever. There's just not a real world life experience there.
Yeah.
So,
And I'll brag on Ryan because it's a 24/7 job. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
sometimes I'm like, can I have my husband back? Like, can you put your phone down for a little bit? And like, can we have some one-on-one time? Because
Yeah.
he's constantly trying to find those clients, and that's a good thing. But it is a full-time, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Like, just even, late at night, he's on his phone texting or, on social media, posting something. So, and it's constant. So he's really working at it to find those clients and those prospects, but he's killing it. So he's doing really good.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, and starting out too, and sorry, we're kind of getting off track with the question, but starting out as a new agent, no matter how experienced or anybody is or whatever, you have two things. You either have a lot of time or you have a lot of money, right? Starting out, most agents have a lot of time because we don't have very many clients that we're working with. So you need to fill that time with prospecting or working with clients or whatever. And eventually that'll roll into, well, you have now more money to help you either buy more time with some back-end admin work or maybe a team or buying leads that way. So starting out, we have a lot of time, and that's where all the texting and all the
That's where
phone calls and all that stuff.
where I want my husband back.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of new agents that get into real estate, they don't realize, how much you do have to like prospect and actually like market yourself as
Yeah.
an agent. And so they get into it, and then a lot of them realize that, and they get out, and
Right.
it feels like for Sarah, she's not really doing it anymore, but Elizabeth told her, like, once you get your license, don't just let it go to waste. You put all that time and effort into it, but a lot of them, they just let it go out now, so.
Yeah,
It's a lot of work.
It is.
Yeah.
it is. But if you want to work for yourself, I mean, yeah, there's freedom, but there's not, right?
Yeah.
Like Catherine said, like I'm constantly on my phone. For better or worse, but that's just the nature of it. And then eventually you can get more structured and get into that time of, I'm kind of working these hours, but
Yeah.
we'll expand that depending on the situation or whatever and kind of fine tune that later. But
Yeah. And it's kind of like once you are your own business owner, it's like
Right.
how much effort is up to you, but that's also going to reflect on how well you're doing.
Correct.
Right.
100%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then how do you scale at that point?
Yeah, exactly.
That's getting into a different conversation.
So the second part of the question, when you started, was there anything you would have changed?
So I had mentioned that you either have time or money when you're starting a new business. If I had a little bit more money at the time, I probably would have paid for some external coaching. We have a really good coaching program at Bray.
Yeah.
There's a specific real estate coach that I am still interested in joining. Catherine's learning.
It's expensive.
It's expensive. And it's a yearly thing, but it'll pay off long term.
Yeah.
So I think if I had had an option to do it up front, which I did, but we needed to save some. We had to have some savings, right?
Yeah.
Moving cross country and our baby girl situation and all that. That's the one thing I would have changed, but outside of that, no. I chose the right brokerage. We chose the right city, and business partners and all that. So, but I can always opt to do that
Yeah.
at any point.
Yeah,
So,
there's always opportunity to learn more.
yeah.
So, can I ask whose course it was or whatever?
Brandon Mulrennan,
Man.
reverse selling.
Okay. I don't think I've heard of that one.
What's
I
that?
I don't think I've heard of that one.
He focuses, so he's a business coach, but he focuses mostly on real estate.
Okay.
Because he was in that for like 20 years too. But reverse selling is his like course.
Gotcha.
And yeah, so.
It's pricey. When Ryan told me how much, I was like, one, we're moving
Yeah.
and we don't really have steady jobs yet. I'm not working and you're getting started and we're pregnant. So maybe we should think about this before we spend a lot of money. But I mean, Ryan has watched tons and tons of videos online just through that, that program that you can actually just find for free.
Yeah.
So I definitely know what Brandon's voice sounds like in our house.
I turned on the YouTube. She's like, okay.
I'm
There we
gonna
go
go
again.
find something else to do now because I know what you're watching.
And I had gone so far as to do a call with him and talk with him and everything. And
Okay.
Then we got the numbers and
I was like, right now, starting out, like we can't do it. Looking back, if we had chosen to do it, would I have been more successful at this point? Maybe. But again, we would have been more underwater than we were when we first started. So, he's a really good, tons of free content on YouTube. So, okay, there's his value.
Yeah.
So what else is he hiding behind,
Yeah.
the program.
the program itself? Yeah. And then you can scale within that program too and everything. So.
Yeah, I think Sarah feels the same way because especially when I was starting out, I was always just watching stuff and learning stuff, and I put on a video in the car every time. She'd be like, "Can we just listen to music for once?" I was like, "No, I gotta learn."
I know. Yeah, that's like me. Like I would study.
Yeah, y'all sound very similar.
Like in the mornings, I would get up and I would study for my license.
Yeah.
And then lunch and afterwards, I'd watch like 2 or 3 hours of
Videos.
YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And then I'd be exhausted by the end of the day and do it all the next day.
Yeah.
That's what it takes, though, starting a business.
Yeah. And then sometimes you just you learn all this, you got to tell somebody about it. And then so I would tell Sarah, she's
Sarah
like,
and I
"That's
get to
cool."
be those people.
Yeah. Well, over the past year, we've done 2 different courses for our business. And then he's also always like, "Oh, Alex Ramosi and all these people." And it got to the point I was having dreams about these people.
About these people you don't really know.
It was like, they're the weirdest dreams. I don't know why I'm having these. I just hear them all the time. And so finally he's like, "Okay, we're going to take a little break. I won't listen to them with you." And I was like, Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely... Brandon's voice, I'm like, okay, it's just kind of, I don't know. It's one of those things I'm like, I need to leave the room now.
And one of the things about his videos is he interviews agents that have gone through his program. Sorry, this is turning into a commercial for his thing.
Not sponsored.
And after you watch enough of his videos, you see that he has a structure to his videos. The same questions, he kind of leads everybody on the same path.
Same questions.
What kind of goes back to how he prospects and how he coaches prospecting is you have your set script or conversation, framework.
Yeah.
And then if you just do all this stuff consistently.
Once you find it that it works.
Yeah, once you find that it works, as with anything, everything works. It just depends on how consistent you are at prospecting.
Yeah.
And what the average I guess lead turnaround time is.
Yeah.
Social media, if you're focusing purely on that, it'll take longer. Whereas direct phone conversations or whatever will typically a shorter lead time. So having a good balance of just being consistent that way is kind of what he preaches on. Anyway.
All right. Well, diving a little deeper, how many days until baby girl is here?
We are at...
What's the date today?
The 14th. So
14th.
we have about a month.
Yeah.
About a month.
Yeah, it's we just had our baby shower this past weekend, now the next thing to look forward to is her being here. So it's crazy and surreal and nerve-wracking, but we're super excited. So it's just crazy to think that in a month our lives are going to be completely different, but obviously for the better. So
yeah, February 16th is the due date.
February 16th.
So we had, the holidays. There was Thanksgiving, and then Christmas, and then New Year's, and then baby shower, and then well,
that's the next one.
The next thing is her being here.
So
yeah, it's crazy. We're excited. So it's gonna come quick. I feel like there's so much to do still, especially after the baby shower this past weekend. The kitchen counter is full of stuff that I just need to organize and wash baby clothes and sheets and all that stuff. So there's a lot to do, but it's all the fun stuff. So we're excited.
Yeah. With the baby coming very soon, would y'all mind sharing y'all's story and journey of how y'all went from getting married all the way to IVF and to now?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to start?
Well, how long is this podcast?
As long as we need it.
Okay. Well, we kind of touched on the marriage part. We, I guess, had struggled with infertility for longer than we knew. We weren't actively trying, and if it happened great. But then once we started trying, we realized, okay, it's not working. I guess that was.
So like we said, COVID kind of threw off. I mean, we got married and then it was COVID. So I was also worried about that. I was like, okay, well, we're in Arizona by ourselves. Family can't travel if we do get pregnant. So that was kind of in the back of our minds. So we weren't, like Ryan said, really actively trying on purpose. If it happened, we were going to be obviously ecstatic, but we weren't really focused on it as much as we became later on. So yeah, I think, let's see, I guess our first appointment at the fertility clinic was in 2022. It was, I think, August of 2022. Yeah.
It's like a consult.
Yeah. We found a really good clinic. Luckily, where we were in Arizona, one of the best and more cost-effective, I guess, if that's what you want to say. I mean, it's terrible to say that about healthcare, but infertility stuff can be super expensive.
Yeah.
And thankfully, there was a clinic in our area that was world-renowned. I think
they have people that visit from Africa and Alaska.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everywhere. And we were 20 minutes from it. So we lucked out there. But we started with a consult. And then
we decided to make the decision to actually start not IVF. There's a scaled down version of this February or March after that.
Yeah. I think it was January. We did IUI January, February, and March.
Okay, yeah.
So we did IUI. We did 3 IUIs in January, February, and March of 23. And those all failed. I still was not pregnant after those.
And what is that?
So IUI, basically, they ramp up my hormones and then take Ryan's sperm and actually inject it into the uterus at a specific time in my cycle. So it's still kind of leaving it up to hopefully working on its own. It's not as invasive as IVF itself. And so it's intrauterine insemination is IUI, what it stands for. And so, we tried that 3 months in a row, January, February, and March, and none of those worked. And so, and kind of to back up, I guess, our diagnosis was unexplained infertility. So it's kind of like.
So we both got tested, we went through all of our stuff, and nothing came back so irregular that we couldn't get pregnant.
Yeah.
And physically, everything with me was how it should be. Yeah. So it was just it was another just kind of bummer explanation. It was like, well, you say something's wrong, but we don't really know what's wrong.
Yeah.
So
I wish that they had found something So that way we know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
unexplained infertility just left it so open. It was like, okay, well, what,
Yeah.
how can we fix this? How can we get pregnant? So that was a little frustrating to kind of hear that. It was like, well, there's something, but we don't know what's wrong. So we'll try this. So yeah, we tried IUI and those didn't work. And then, so just going through that process was alone stressful in itself. And I ended up with shingles in April, which is something that, you know, much older in your life you would expect, but
Not someone in their 30s.
yeah, not someone in your 30s really do they get shingles, but I think just the stress of all this infertility stuff and just doing it back to back, I broke out with shingles. And so that was kind of like a wake-up call. I was like, okay, maybe we need to take some time. Like, we've hit it really hard for the past 3 months of just trying to make this work. And so again, that was another like time in our, I guess, a point in our timeline where we were forced to kind of just step back and take a break. So
We at that point we decided to make some like health
yeah,
lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
Which we were already kind of doing, but now it's like, okay, we got to get serious about it.
something's not working.
Because something's not working, and then we needed to save up a little bit for
The next step.
IVF because that's exponentially more expensive than the IUI rounds that we did. So it wasn't until August.
Yeah.
Okay, so we made the decision in August of 23.
3.
No, 2. Yeah, 3.
Yeah.
To go forward with IVF. Monday morning, we both got that phone call where we got laid off. But we had already committed to doing IVF. So
We were a week from starting my IVF medication when we
Oh
got
my
laid off.
gosh.
So that was kind of just obviously everything on top of it was like, wow, really?
Yeah.
that was a really stressful and confusing and frustrating and what do we do?
Gut punch.
Yeah, gut punch time for us. We knew we wanted a child. Didn't matter, you know, at that point what else was going on. We had enough saved to do one round.
Yeah.
So we got, when was the first egg retrieval?
It was in August.
That was in August,
Yeah.
okay. So that was August that year. We had gotten 2 healthy embryos out of that. We did 1 transfer in November. This was while we're looking for a house here, mind you.
We kind of
in Arizona.
just let IVF proceed how we wanted it. Like Ryan said, we were thankfully in a good position with money that we had that round saved for to just go all the way through. And so kind of just let that run its course and go the direction that we had already planned, while at the same time kind of changing courses of, okay, we're moving and moving states, not just moving houses, but we're making a big move. So kind of had 2 things just kind of going on that it's like, this thing's gonna run normal, but this part is gonna be completely different than what we had originally planned.
We also had a 1-year-old puppy too.
I think though that was like our saving grace.
Yeah.
Ryder got us through a lot of hard times, and he was there.
Wild animal.
He's a wild child for sure, but that was kind of just, it was probably the best distraction in the best of ways. He has a lot of energy and needed a lot of training, but that was something just to kind of keep us distracted of losing our job and going through the emotional toll of IVF and infertility stuff. So Ryder's still, he was our good distraction.
Yeah, he's a good distraction. Still is.
It still is, yeah.
So yeah, we did a transfer in November, around Thanksgiving, actually.
Yeah, it was, well, we found out,
And it didn't work. So the embryo didn't stick. We don't know the reason. There's really not a way to know the reason. But we had to move.
So we had,
a week after that?
we had Thanksgiving, and my parents, Ryan's mom was supposed to come, but she got COVID. So my parents, it was kind of like our last hurrah in Arizona. My parents came for Thanksgiving, and then they left,
Saturday or something.
I think, the Saturday. and Saturday after, and then the Monday after, we did my blood test to determine if I was pregnant after the transfer, and found out it failed. And then we moved on Thursday. So I mean, literally that was 1 week from Thanksgiving to like leaving, and in the middle of that we found out that our transfer didn't work. And so again, it was just like, when you feel like you couldn't get any lower, we could, and that was rough.
We were ready to get out of the state at that point, get to our support network here.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know what we were going to do. We didn't know if we should go ahead and transfer the second embryo to try.
We had one more frozen.
Or maybe try another egg retrieval to bank embryos. Because we're getting up there in age, as far as like fertility goes.
Yeah.
So we had to make a decision there. We want 2 children. Only having 1 embryo is not going to give us 2 children, right? So we decided to do another round in April.
March, April of this year, or well, 24. Yeah.
24.
And we did not get any embryos.
Yeah.
That round. So we had gone back to Arizona, stayed there for 2 weeks, because you're on this protocol.
Yeah.
Where you have to go in like every day or every other day
to be monitored.
Check Catherine's hormone levels, all that. Injections, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of injections and all that. That didn't work. So
it was a bust. So that, again.
And that was another round of payments that we had to make, right?
Yeah.
So going back to the coaching thing where that was expensive, like this is much more than that. It's also more important to us. So we made a call at that point to just, say we have one left. This is our Hail Mary. We don't know what we're going to do, because I have to start like literally grinding at work if we're going to do another round of this. And so in early May, around Catherine's birthday, we went back to Arizona. Oh, you only have to be there for a couple days
for a
transfer. This is where they put the embryo inside Catherine. And 2 weeks later, we found out we were pregnant.
So finally, we got our good news.
So she is pregnant. So that's sorry. I told you it's a long story, but there's a lot that happened in that like 18 months.
There were a lot of lows, but then we finally got our high, and it was hard to believe at that point, because we had been through so much, and it was our Hail Mary. It was that was all we had. We didn't have the money to do IVF a third time, especially after a complete bust on our second round. I never thought that we would get 0 embryos out of an IVF retrieval, but we did, and that was really rough. But so when we had 1 embryo left frozen, it was like, we have to transfer it. This is all we have. This is our only option if we want to continue proceeding in some way right now. And so, I kept calling it our Hail Mary, and it worked. So it was, I think we were in complete shock when we got the call. Because I had gone locally here in Lubbock to do my blood work, and then it was like, that was the longest day ever. They literally called us at like 5 p.m. that day.
The last minute.
It was the longest day. I had done my blood work at like 8:30 a.m. and I had to wait all day for the results to go to our clinic in Arizona and for them to read it. And then I'd wait for someone to actually call me, and I'm like waiting all day long. So when we finally got that call that afternoon, it was just like, we couldn't believe it. It just felt like, did we finally get to that point of our high? We finally got it. So, and we did. But it took a long time for me to feel comfortable being pregnant. After everything that we had been through, I wasn't ready to tell people. And, there were so many milestones that I wanted to hit before we started telling everybody. And it took a lot for me to explain to my mom. Like, my mom, literally kept asking me, don't you want to shout it from the mountaintops? I'm like, no, I don't, because I know there's so many other milestones that we have to go through. And I I probably knew too much of what could go wrong.
Yeah.
And that was holding me back from telling people. But because we had nothing left and this was it, like I needed this one to work. And there were a lot of steps that I wanted to get through before I really started telling people. And so, yeah, she's our little miracle. She's on the way, and I can't believe that, every milestone, we just were so grateful. I mean, gosh, what was the first milestone that we finally, it was I don't even know, but we got to take maternity pictures, and then we just had our baby shower. So it was just every little thing. And I'm thankful that we hit that, and just can't wait for her to be here.
Yeah. I think it was probably when the first time you see the heartbeat.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
And that's true for any pregnancy. Yeah. With IVF, there's still stuff that can go wrong later.
Yeah.
Especially up to 18 weeks.
Yeah.
Or 20 or so. It's kind of the danger zone. Mm-hmm. So we were kind of really trying to hold off as long as we could. Not quite that long. Yeah. But just until we knew okay, the chances of basically after the first trimester actually was okay, we've graduated into our normal OB doctor.
Which we didn't know what normal was.
So
those normal OB appointments, it was well, we've never done that. Yeah.
That was a shock for
That
us.
was, I guess, our first milestone.
Because throughout this process, you're in the doctor's office, at least once a week, usually multiple times a week, for months. And then all of a sudden we graduate to normal.
Hey, we'll see you in a month. And I'm wait.
Yeah, I'm wait a minute.
A whole month? I'm not going to see you?
Yeah, that's a good thing, but what am I supposed to do with my time?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we, and the other reason she's our little miracle is because there's different grades of embryos, depending on how fast they grow and how much they mature when they're in that first 5 days of becoming an embryo.
In the lab.
Yeah. So, her as an embryo, she was just slower to grow. So the success rate wasn't
Our doctor in Arizona gave her, I can't remember now.
You mean percentage?
The percentage, was
So that's
60% or something of actually working. And I'm 60% doesn't really seem like
you go
a
through
lot.
this IVF thing thinking that no matter what, it's always going to work.
You're going to end up with a baby.
But at the end of the day, it's a 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
Because when they when they take eggs from Catherine, and then they put they fertilize them, they could have 10 or 12 fertilized eggs at that point, or eggs, I guess. Mm-hmm. And then maybe only 6 fertilized.
Are normal.
And then maybe only 3 turn out to be healthy embryos. Mm-hmm. And then maybe after genetic testing, only 1. So it's really kind of the snowball effect of don't get too excited because you know what can happen. So that kind of played into, we didn't want to tell anybody too early on because something could still happen even later on. And once she was pregnant.
Yeah, and we were really open with our story, and we still are. I mean, there's a huge stigma against infertility, and it's something that is not talked about. Yeah. And that Ryan and I just have a different perspective on it. It's well, that was our life, and that was what exactly, everything that we were going through, we wanted to share it with people, but so many women just do this in hiding, and it's just that wasn't how we wanted to do it. I mean, that's who we were at that moment and in that time, and we were very open with what we were going through and how it was going. So we shared our story with anybody and everybody. I mean, there were probably people that I had, shared our story, I'm going through IVF at the grocery store. It's just that's just who Ryan and I are, and it wasn't something that we wanted to hide. I didn't feel like it's something to be ashamed of. It's not anything that we could have changed for ourselves. It's just something that we were going through. And I wanted people to understand that it's hard, and it's something that you don't need to go through by yourself or just you and your husband or whoever. It's just, I feel like it should be talked about more. Our clinic was constantly packed with people, so it's obviously a problem in society that, you know, people are dealing with this, but I didn't feel like it was something that we should have to do silently.
Yeah.
And so we were really open with that part of our journey. But I guess I kind of flipped whenever I got pregnant. It was like, okay, now I'm gonna clam up and I'm not gonna tell anybody, just because I was so nervous, knowing that it was our last chance at the time. So I guess I kind of conflicted myself once I did get pregnant. But yeah, we've just been really open with our infertility journey, and we're happy to share it.
Yeah, and you know, it's one of those things that it's centered around kind of like the education factor of it.
Yeah.
And I hate to like compare it to like diabetes or cancer or something, because those, like, they can be terminal, right? Like that's not a totally fair comparison. However, when somebody tells you that, you know, like, no, I can't, I'm a diabetic, or I got cancer or whatever, usually the person that you're talking to will have a question and be like, okay, what stage or what type or whatever.
Yeah.
With fertility or infertility or IVF, it's just like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm praying for you, which is great. Like, we love that. But then that's where the conversation stops.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what else to ask or whatever. And that's why I think a lot of women and men, couples in general, are like kind of clam up a little bit, because they're not, some can be ashamed or whatever, because they don't know how to express and just how to talk about it, because they get that reaction of, you know, there's not a conversation about it when they tell somebody.
Yeah.
So that's big to me. And that's part of the reason why I think we're just so open about it, is because it's like, look, we can't help it.
It's nothing we did.
Yeah, it's something we did or didn't do. Even with our lifestyle changes, I mean, we only got one beautiful little baby girl out of it. But I think the more people talk about it, the more people are comfortable, and the more science that comes out, you know, sharing all this stuff. Hopefully it'll get to that point where when people have conversations about infertility and IVF, it's not as uncomfortable as it is now, and even more so in the past.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And there's, even in, you know, all the books that I had read and gone through, emotionally, they compare it to being told you have cancer. I mean, it's
devastating.
Yeah, it's devastating. So yeah, it may not be like a death sentence, but emotionally it feels like that. It feels like you have cancer, or, you know, there's something wrong that we're gonna have to work on in order for you to get a baby. Yeah. So
and it's not guaranteed.
No, it's not. And I mean, like I said, I never thought and even imagined that our second IVF round would result in 0 embryos, after spending all that money and time and effort and tears and getting poked a million times. But it happens, unfortunately. Yeah. And so it's a very rough journey, and I just don't feel like people should have to go through that silently. So it's just something that we are happy to share. No, it's not something we wanted to go through, but I'm happy to talk to people and just, you know, if I can be an ear or share my experience, then I want to do that for others that may be thinking about it or struggling with it without telling others, just so we can be there for them.
That's what I was going to say. Even if people are just thinking about doing it, like, we know so much about the process. Everything is so planned and structured and scheduled and all this stuff, that if anybody has questions or is just curious, like, we're happy to have a conversation. Or even just like hold their hand through it if they're going to go through it and they just need help.
Yeah.
We know what it's like. It's not easy.
No.
Yeah. I mean, we've like done research on IVF and stuff before, you know, just to learn about it and stuff, but talking to y'all, like, so much more knowledge just from having the experience of going through it. Yeah. Like, I don't think any amount of research could have like taught us as much about it as y'all have so far.
Thank you. Well, yeah, that means a lot. I mean, yeah, I never imagined that I would learn so much about my body and how things work and the timing. I mean, it's a miracle we're all here, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're
to think about that.
2-hour time frame at some points where it's like it has to happen that like whatever the doctor's appointment is or whatever.
Yeah, it's I never imagined that I would learn so much about, getting pregnant and the timing of it. Yeah, and just the miracle of life. So it's crazy.
Right, 1 second. I'm gonna check the cameras and then we'll move on.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Told you that'd be a long answer.
Okay, I'm good. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and let's lighten the mood up a little bit. Sarah made a bowl of would you rather questions in here. And so we're all gonna draw one and then we'll all answer them.
Okay.
So we'll let y'all start.
Thank you.
Ladies first. Are we drawing at the same time or just...
One at a time. We'll do one at a time.
Okay, so mine is always have to sing instead of speaking or dance everywhere you go. Well, I'd say this one's pretty easy for me. So I danced, I did tap, ballet, and jazz from starting at the age of 3.
Oh, wow.
So, and then I did it for about 15 years. So my answer would be dance.
Dance everywhere you go.
Got that one pretty easy.
Yeah. Do I answer that one or do I just...
Yeah, go ahead and we'll all answer that one.
Okay. I think I sing around the house. So I sing around the house. I'll just like make up songs all the time.
We sing to the dog.
And I am not a dancer. So I think I'm the opposite on that one. I think I would just sing instead of speaking.
Yeah.
Not that I have a good voice or anything. That'd be my...
No, you do have a good voice.
Oh, thanks, babe.
He has a good Christmas, beginning to look a lot like Christmas song.
I'm not doing it here for you. So.
All right.
I have no idea actually, because I hate singing, can't do it, but I also am awful at dancing, so it's kind of a lose-lose for me.
You could just do both.
Sing and dance everywhere.
That way you're committed.
Oh yeah.
You're all in.
Yeah. No, I think I'd probably sing instead of speaking. I feel like that would be less embarrassing for me.
Yeah.
Like on Elf, the movie Elf, he's like, it's just moving your voice up and down.
Singing.
I think I'd probably dance. I'd probably do that. I do both all the time anyways.
Okay.
But I think dancing would be easier. Because how do you tell somebody something seriously while you're singing?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's true.
You got bad news and you gotta sing it.
Yeah. You're like, are you making fun of me?
What are you doing right now?
All right, next question.
All right. I don't want to look at them.
No, don't.
It's like, let me pick my favorite.
Yeah. Can I go through these? All right. Would I rather find a rat in your kitchen or a roach in your bed?
Ooh.
Roach.
Roach in your bed?
Yeah, roach in the bed. It's smaller, it's just a little bug. Mice are dirty and they carry all sorts of nasty diseases.
Yeah, I guess I would agree. I can at least wash the sheets. It's not going to make me happy to find a roach in the bed, but I can kill it and then wash my sheets in really hot water. If it's a mouse or a rat, then I feel like I have a lot more to clean.
Yeah,
I'm very OCD, so that would not go well for me. I would probably really it would not be good that I would have to clean the whole house because I feel like the rat has crawled all over the house and
just find little mouse poops in
there.
there.
No, mice poop, no thanks, I'm good.
I think I'd actually be the opposite.
Really?
I'd rather find a rat in the kitchen only because we happen to have lived with some mice for a while.
It's true.
And just like, what if you're going to bed and that's when you find it? Then like,
Yeah.
okay, but I can at least be like, well, I saw it in the kitchen. It's in the kitchen. It's
No, it's
not
not
where
in
I'm
here.
sleeping. It's not where I'm sleeping. So I could like shut it out from being over there. But that's only because like we've lived through that before.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be my answer.
I think because of that, I would pick the roach. Because
You've done
from
that.
experience,
Yeah.
when I see a roach and I kill it, that's the only one. Maybe in a couple months or something there'll be another one. But whenever there's a mouse or a rat,
Yeah.
I know there's other
more.
ones
There's
somewhere, and they're
Yeah.
gonna show up at some point.
Yeah.
Funny story, real quick. My parents, when they, I think they had just had my sister, so I wasn't born yet. But they moved into some like trailer apartments, and the previous owner had what they think pet rats,
Oh no.
but they left them there. So my parents moved in, and they didn't know until that night. My mom woke up with one on her chest, just like staring at her.
No.
And she freaked out, and then my dad got up, and he always had this pipe with him, like for self-defense. And he walked into the living room, and I don't know if he's being dramatic or not, but my mom says it's true. They said they were like the size of small dogs. Like
New
they
York
were
City
massive,
size.
yeah.
Oh no.
And he was like holding that pipe, like about to go hit that rat, and that rat was looking at him like, do it. See what happens.
I challenge you.
Yeah, and so I think they moved out a week later.
That is not the place.
Yeah.
I probably would too.
Yeah, it's not good.
Okay. Mine is give up the internet or your pet. I'd have to say internet.
Yeah.
I don't know that I could just like, because they're already my pet. If it was give up the internet or never have a pet,
Yeah.
that'd be different.
Yeah.
But like, you have such an emotional connection with your pet. I
Family
don't,
member.
Yes.
like, we can go back to pre-internet. Yeah.
I agree. That's my answer as well.
Simple enough. I agree.
Yeah.
I'd give up the internet.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, I'd have to find a different career,
Yeah.
That's true.
but that's okay.
Or just only do door knocking.
Yeah. There you go.
Everything's just paperwork.
Yeah.
Handwritten.
Handwritten.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hard copies.
No online applications.
Yeah, definitely give up internet.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. They're part of the family, so I'm not giving up my pets.
All right. Let's do this one. Do that. Be constantly sticky or constantly itchy?
Oh.
Oh God.
Probably constantly sticky. Yeah. I've lived through the itchy thing, and I'd rather do sticky for sure.
Yeah.
I would agree.
You would agree?
I would agree, especially for like, I feel like people already live through that. If you live in like a humid place, you feel
True.
sticky all the time.
True.
So just like,
Yep.
I feel like your body would just be used to it. So
Yes, I agree. I would do constantly sticky. I think itching would drive me crazy.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
literally just make my mind go wild.
Sometimes you have those itches that you just can't scratch regardless. So
Yeah.
if that's your life forever, no. Give me sticky.
You can kind of ignore sticky to a
Yeah.
degree. Itchy, no.
I feel like there's ways you could get around being constantly sticky, but constantly itchy, it's just, I don't know if you can get around that.
How sticky is it? Is it like where everything is like stuck in your hands, you know?
Spider-Man.
Yeah, like Spider-Man? Or is it just like, glue or whatever?
Like sticky sugar.
Yeah, like Post-it notes. Anyway.
Yeah.
again. Next one.
Next one.
Okay. Here, you go again. And we'll pass
Just
it
go
back
back
around. Okay.
Go in order.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and draw one. I just want to look at it.
Oops.
Get out of here.
Ryan wants to do two of them.
Yeah, he does.
Nobody saw it.
Get a paper cut every time you turn a page or bite your tongue every time you eat.
Oh,
Oh.
Oh, I know the answer to that.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I think I got a paper cut last week, like right on the edge of my finger, but I think I would rather do a paper cut because biting my tongue, I'm known to do that as well, but
You can stay away from books. You have to eat.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that was my
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah,
Hey, I just won't read.
yeah, I'll do a paper cut.
I'll have the internet. So.
Right. Now if you had to give up the internet, now which one would you pick?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be a good one. Like, give up the internet or get a paper cut every time you read. I don't know. Lose an arm or lose a leg?
Ooh.
Lose an arm.
Lose an arm.
That way I can still walk.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's prosthetics though. Prosthetics are good these days.
Yeah.
Advanced medicine.
Yeah. I think I still stay with an arm.
Yeah.
Got two of them.
Well, you have two legs too, so. I think I might be opposite. I think I would rather lose a leg because I don't know. I feel like I need both of my hands to function and do things. So if I lost a leg, I could use a wheelchair or a prosthetic and still get around.
Like claw pincher hand.
Or a hook.
Yeah, you change it out.
Yeah,
On the occasion.
that's true. No, I think I'll lose a
Switchable.
leg.
Yeah.
I think I'd agree on losing a leg. I
Yeah.
just feel like my arms so like, especially with babies being on the
Yeah.
way, like
Yeah.
I can't imagine holding him with like a prosthetic arm. I
Exactly.
feel like that'd be
Doesn't seem
uncomfortable.
safe.
Like, do they come fully padded? Like, but like a leg, I can avoid that.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I think I would lose a leg for the reason of how much I use my hands, like both of them.
Sure.
Like losing a leg, I don't use my toes really for that much, like detail type of stuff. But I use both hands like for really detailed stuff. So I think that's why I would go with the
Yeah.
leg.
Okay.
And I have seen one person that doesn't have either legs and they like can run faster than most people because they're prosthetic.
Those prosthetic
Yeah.
spring thing.
So it works.
All right. Always be stuck in traffic but find a perfect parking spot, or never hit traffic but always take forever to park. Never hit traffic. I hate traffic. I just don't like driving in general, so.
I think I'd rather always have a parking spot.
I don't know. Like, think about being stuck in Dallas traffic all the time.
Yeah, Houston.
Yeah.
That's your
about
everyday?
trying to find parking on the street sometimes.
I guess so.
That is true, parking on the street. I was thinking more
Yeah.
of like the back of a parking
Yeah.
lot. Okay, who cares? I'll just walk an extra minute.
Right. I was thinking the back of a parking
But
lot.
street
Like,
parking, you're right though. Like,
Yeah.
that's another level.
Yeah.
I'm not good at parallel parking, so.
You're pretty good at it.
Ryan's good at it. I would pick no traffic and have trouble finding a parking spot because I was thinking the back of a parking lot, which
Yeah.
I normally do already anyways. I'll just park way out there and walk, which is fine. Even being pregnant, I'm like, I'll just avoid all the mess up to the store. But if it's street parking, I could struggle with that.
Yeah.
I guess in Lubbock,
It doesn't really have,
yeah. It's not street parking.
No
but
street parking really.
Like
I
San
guess
Francisco
just-
or whatever,
yeah.
where it's impossible.
And on an
Yeah.
incline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even just like downtown Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in Austin on Congress where it has to be back in,
Yeah, you gotta back in.
angled back in parking. Yeah.
You have to do that.
On Congress, yeah, it's angled parking spots, but you have to back into them so that
What?
like when you're leaving, you're not backing out
Yeah.
into traffic to leave.
Kind of a pain in the ass.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Sorry if there's cursing's not allowed. on this podcast.
We'll allow it.
Okay.
Ugh.
We're all adults here.
There are 2 babies here.
Yes,
Not
that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Forget your partner's birthday or your anniversary every year.
Oh no. Every year? Birthday just once?
No, I think every year applies to both.
Yeah.
Both every year?
Yeah.
Okay, so forget your partner's birthday every year or your anniversary every year. I feel like they're equally as bad.
Yeah. You're going to be in trouble for both.
That'd suck if they're on the same day.
Right? Don't win.
You remember one, but not the other.
Happy birthday.
In one
Anything
house?
else?
Yeah.
No? That's it. I guess birthday. I think I'd rather forget birthday. Just because, like, I'm not really a big birthday person anyway. But, like, anniversary, I want to do something for sure every time.
I think I'd be the opposite.
The opposite?
Yeah, because like, you know, you're like, it's 3 years, but like then there's the big ones. And then the other person will remember the big one. And you're like, oh yeah. And also because I'm the girl. So you should plan the anniversary anyways.
Oh my God.
But like, birthdays have always been a big thing in my family. He hates his own birthday. So they've always been like important
Yeah.
to me, so.
I think I would prefer to skip or to forget anniversary.
All right.
I'm out of here.
Like, I am married to you and you know I love you. So if I accidentally forget our anniversary
Every year.
every year.
I wouldn't hold it against you. So.
Thank you.
I would forget your birthday.
I think I'm sad about that.
Yeah, I think for me, anniversary, because it was like our first time living out of state and then COVID and all that stuff.
Kind of chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All came together like right then.
But we made it. Exactly, yeah. We got through that. We still love each other.
Remember that.
And you would forget.
And then I would remember your birthday the day after, so it's fine.
Okay.
We'll just change your birthday.
Change
Well, I
it
guess
to
it wouldn't work because then I'd forget it then.
Just keep moving it.
Yeah. Okay, let's do one more.
Okay.
Oh. Oh no, this one's really bad for me and my OCD. Would I rather sleep in a doghouse or let stray dogs sleep in your bed?
Oh my God.
So me being the germaphobe, this does not go well for me. If it's a doghouse that is a dog I know, I will do that because stray dogs, in my opinion, have too many bugs and germs and do not do fleas or ticks, no. So I'm hoping it's a doghouse that I know and I'll do that.
Yeah, I think I'd say sleep in a doghouse because, again, getting like fleas and ticks and bugs and all that stuff, like
I cannot do that.
in your bed forever, probably.
Yeah.
Does not sound fun.
No.
To me.
Yeah.
I would agree.
I think so.
Yeah.
There would be a little bit like, if it's like an outside doghouse and it's like the middle of winter,
Yeah.
maybe, but overall, yeah.
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 Also, what situation are you in where stray dogs are just coming into the like, you might want to get out of that situation
Right?
as best as you can.
Oh, did you already draw?
Yeah.
Oh.
Very sneaky. All right. Lose the ability to read or to speak. I guess read,
Yeah.
because then I can still communicate the same way I was before. Just
Yeah.
illiterate.
I agree. You're illiterate.
Does sign language count as speaking?
That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, there's other ways to communicate. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Okay. Fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses. I'd have to say one horse-sized duck.
I think it depends. Are the horses just as strong even though they're smaller?
I would think so.
Because then, yeah, a duck would
Yeah.
be easier.
One horse-sized duck. I don't know though, because then the horse-sized duck can fly
True.
Oh, that
Just
is
like-
true.
onto you.
I'm imagining the dragon in Shrek.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. I think I'd probably go for the
one versus many.
I mean,
Yeah.
imagine 100, just 100 ducks.
100 ducks coming at you.
Yeah, just like rage in their eyes, coming after you. But now they're horses.
Yeah, horses would
Yeah,
be so much faster.
yeah. No thanks.
Yeah.
Stronger. And they're like at shin level too.
Yeah.
And they can all fly. So you have 100 flying things rather than one massive flying thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go one.
Yeah, one horse-sized duck. All right, last one. Lose your sight or lose your memories?
Oh.
You got to end on this one.
Sight or memories? Like all memories? Dang.
Like if it happened today.
Yeah.
This one's deep.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
This one's hard.
It is.
I guess I would lose sight. I mean, I can still communicate, like we said a while ago, in other ways. That's really hard though, because I would still want to see, but
Yeah.
I don't want to forget everything we've already been through in life.
Yeah. Okay, and then you still have your other senses, like you can still smell food that bring up.
Yeah.
And
Can learn Braille.
hopefully you don't lose your sight and you can just leave me around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think sight.
Yeah.
Memories is like deep. Losing memories would be, that's heavy.
Yeah. Thanks.
Sight.
Yeah, one of my senses over memories.
Over your
Yeah.
mind. Yeah.
And then also memories, like would you lose the
Yeah.
memory to like do basic human things?
Yeah,
Like that you
functioning.
learned as a baby?
Yeah.
But also, like, if you lost all your memories, then you're like, who's this person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like dementia, like getting
Yeah.
dementia now.
Yeah.
Going
Yeah.
blind.
Yeah. Lose
Sight.
sight.
It has to be
After
sight.
thinking about it, I think it's easy.
I mean, I guess though, if you lose your memory, you don't know that you lost it, though.
True. So for
So
you,
do you
it's
know
not.
what you're missing
Yeah, but like, it's
next
not.
time.
Yeah. For you, it's not like
finger.
hurting you,
I know,
but
it's
it'll hurt
hurting everybody
everyone
else.
around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still think sight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just trying to play both sides. All right. Well, before we wrap everything up, I want to ask y'all what changes will y'all be making this year for business and for y'all's family?
I'll let you obviously speak on the business part.
Okay. Well, we have a baby on the way, obviously. So, as much as we can prepare business-wise and personal-wise for that and be ready for it, or not, nobody's ever going to be ready for it. You know, it's our
Yeah.
first child. So, I can say finding that balance of work and providing for a growing family and all that stuff is definitely something to focus on. How I'm going to do that at this point, I don't know, because the first couple months we're going to be exhausted.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll figure it out. We always do. But as far as changes go, it's just really diving into the why and providing for, the family and growing a business as every agent should be doing or is doing into something that can, we take care of the business, it can take care of us as a family. So that's the change. How that change is and what that is, I don't know yet, but we'll see once we get that kid
Yeah.
on the way.
I'm really anxious to learn how to become a mom. My mom last night told me, it's gonna come natural. I'm like, I hope so, but I'm really nervous. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun year for sure. And I know it's gonna be hard. Someone last week told us, you're not gonna love every minute of it, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And I like that because I know there's going to be times where we're beyond sleep deprived and it's going to be hard and I'm probably going to be crying and Ryan's not going to know what to do with us, and I mean me crying and probably baby crying too. So dog barking is going to be chaos. So but it's going to be happy chaos and it's going to be it's going to be fun. So I'm anxious. Yeah, I'm anxious to see what it holds, but I'm nervous.
Yeah, a lot of unknowns this year, but
yeah,
you know, like we said in our story, getting here was a bunch of unknowns, and
we made it, and I like where we ended up. So
y'all are pros at tackling the unknown.
I don't know about that.
I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Yeah, you know.
All right. Well, Ryan, Catherine, thank y'all so much for joining us today.
Yeah.
And we'll see y'all next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.